everybody, welcome to the Den25 Show. As you can see, Mark is still not with us this week. He's still dealing with his own school stuff, his personal issues, and basically you'll see him when you see him.
That means he's hoeing around.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, so basically, I'm sure you guys have heard of the whole Matt Gaetz debacle that's been going on for like the past week or so. Basically, he's being investigated by the DOJ for sex trafficking a 17-year-old. It's pretty serious, I will say, because this is more than allegations. This is like a whole ass investigation. And I will tell you guys, Bill Barr was actually the one that started this back during the Trump administration. This is only coming out now because the Biden administration is now in office, right?
Yeah.
So, that's one detail to know.
Yep.
Basically, that happened, right? And to kind of clear himself up, right? He went on Fox News for an interview with Tucker Carlson, and it went fucking terrible. It was so bad for several reasons too. Because one, at this point in time, initial details were just coming out. It was just from a single like New York Times article, and he started saying like specific details that he's there to deny that were not even made public record yet. So for an example, he made the allegation that there were photos of him out there nude with underage girls and minors, right? That wasn't part of public record yet, right?
Excuse me?
Yeah. So he's saying shit that people don't even know about yet. And two, apparently he pissed Tucker Carlson off after the interview, but basically what happened was he implicated his name in a couple ways. First, he was like,
and I believe we are in an era of our politics now, Tucker, where people are smeared to try to take them out of the conversation. I'm not the only person on screen right now who's been falsely accused of a terrible sex act. You were accused of something that you did not do, and so you know what this feels like. You know the pain it can bring to your family, and you know how it just puts people on defense when you're accused of something so salacious and awful. But it did not happen. It is not true. And the fact that it is the basis of this attempt to extort my family tells a lot. And if the FBI and Department of Justice will release the tapes that they are in possession of, the American people will see what is really going on.
You just referred to a mentally ill viewer who accused me of a sex crime 20 years ago. And of course, it was not true. I never met the person. But I do agree with you that being accused falsely is one of the worst things that can happen. And you do see it a lot.
I'm sure you can empathize with me because you had a supposedly false allegation 20 years ago where you were falsely accused of sexually molesting someone, right?
They all sell each other out like fucking rats.
Yeah, I know, right? So
he's going to pull a 6'9".
Like, if I was in Tucker's position, I don't want to be like, I don't want to have my name implicated in your bullshit, all right?
Yeah, because it brings up shit that could get you fucked off the air.
Yeah, exactly. And second, what happened was that he supposedly recalled like a personal incident from like a couple of years ago where you're saying like, oh.
Again, I only know what I've read in the New York Times. I can say that actually you and I went to dinner about 2 years ago. Your wife was there, and I brought a friend of mine. You'll remember her. And she was actually threatened by the FBI, told that if she wouldn't cop to the fact that somehow I was involved in some pay-for-play scheme, that she could face trouble. And so I do believe that there are people at the Department of Justice who are trying to smear me, providing for flights and hotel rooms for people that you're dating who are of legal age is not a crime. And I'm just troubled that the lack of any sort of legitimate investigation into me would then convert into this extortion attempt.
I don't remember the woman you're speaking of or the context at all, honestly. But
you'll remember back then, Tucker, where I introduced you to a girl, huh? And apparently that girl was put under threat by the FBI for so forth and so forth, right? So he implicated his name twice, and apparently that pissed Tucker off, right? He even said like afterwards that it was like the weirdest interview that he's ever conducted. Tucker himself.
And Carlson we're talking about. This is Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, it's like that. It's like if you're you first you go rob someone, you go open the window, you go steal the old lady's valuables, and then a cop pulls you over, and you're like, "Officer, I didn't just open the window and
My
sneak
friend."
inside and open the drawer and
Oh.
take the valuables and hide them in my trunk. I did nothing." And the cop goes like, "Sir, I pulled you over for speeding. Open the trunk."
It's like what's it called? It's like you're a drug dealer. Like, well, officer, there are no narcotics in the vehicle. I can tell you that right now. They are not inside the tires or underneath my hood, under the false bottom of my trunk right there. There is no such narcotics in my car. So you do not need to check it at all. Like, what? He didn't know what was public and what wasn't. So instead of playing it conservatively, he just went in guns a-blazing. Like, I did not have sexual relations with any 17-year-old, and also like I don't have any nude photos with minors, and he tried to just cover up every allegation that he could think about. When you lie, like when you were a kid, right, and you would lie to your parents, you would get jittery. You would not really know. You would like cross up your story. You would like add other shit in there to try to make it more believable, or like, just like get people off your ass.
Also,
And,
do you think
I
that? Sorry,
feel
go
like
ahead.
he was doing like a one-size-fits-all kind of interview because he didn't want to have an interview again because he probably knew that there were going to be a shit ton more like details.
Oh, no, of course. Like, you're
Yeah.
you're accused pedophile. You're gonna have to
Yeah.
clear your name multiple times. I think what he's trying to do with that, the reason for that is because we saw how the one interview went, right? If he instead of this one interview, he had to do like 4 or 5, and there's a chance that he fucks up all 4 or 5 just as bad. Like, he knows what's gonna happen, so he tried to just get it all. He might have also just tried to get it all done at once, go every allegation he could think about, talk about him basically, and just never have to accept another interview. And then it's just on that one Fox News episode.
Honestly, pro tip: if you're gonna do that, first of all, Matt, not you, Matt, the Matt, the
accusing me of.
Please don't
I
take
let
me
you know,
out of
I
your
do
basement,
have
please.
I do have secret details about what you did that one night. I recorded you, Adam.
Well, damn. It was nice knowing you guys.
I totally have met Adam in real life. Yes. At 3
Yes,
a.m.
I have crossed the border between District 26 and District 25 illegally.
Insinuating.
If I go down, you're all going down with me. That's
yeah. Let's all just off each other.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Matt Gaetz.
I think that was Tucker's logic, or not Tucker. I think that was Matt Gaetz's logic, basically.
Oh boy, he said, "Fuck you if
I'm going down, you're going down with me, basically."
Yeah, but like he should have, if he's trying to clear himself in just one interview, maybe do that like when all the details come out, instead of giving like the press a free head start.
Or you just wait until like CNN or something like that, who you hate, breaks the story, see what they talked about, and just counter that.
And he's playing like the first clip, which was the longest. I think it was like 2 minutes. Like half of it is him just saying this is an allegation by the left, or basically he's trying to rile up his supporters because, again, blah blah blah, polarized society.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that gives a crutch for like anybody who tries to do that, the awful and heinous things that he does. You know that people, all you have to do is just say, "Oh, it's just propaganda," and then people from your side are gonna back you up. Same thing with Kuma, like, he's got his whole thing going on. Like, and sometimes, unfortunately, I still see, from the odd occasion that I do go onto Twitter, I still see some people complain like, "Oh my God, I just beat off Takumo yesterday. Why did I have to ruin it for him?"
And for that, usually it's like 50-year-old like boomer moms.
Yeah.
Not boomer, like,
No, it's 20-year-old basic girls that have been saying this.
It's two literal groups, all right? It's really fucking old neolibs and like really young neolibs. That's literally the people
who just got the first iPhone.
Actually, you know what? It's not even that. It's just neolibs in general that are.
Yeah. I think it's like the middle part and up of like millennials and like Gen X that's like thinking like, "Oh, Cuomo, well, these allegations are false. I don't know why, but Cuomo's daddy." So
how many allegations does he have again?
He has a lot. He has a lot for like a myriad of like different things too. He has not only the sexual harassment and assault like allegations, he also did that one thing where he had the data for he had the data for the nursing home deaths. That was like an entire scandal, and that actually preceded the
sexual allegations.
Yeah, it preceded the sexual assault allegations. I haven't kept up on that, but I believe he's under threat of impeachment for that because progressives make up a large like chunk of the New York legislator. there was a strange thing also in the interview, where it wasn't just like details that he leaked that haven't been like put out there yet. He also made this really strange excuse for all this, for the allegations, right? Because he basically I'm just paraphrasing here, right? He basically claimed that the Justice Department was conspiring against him and his family. Like they were literally going to extort his family of money and ruin his reputation, right? So he made like these really heinous and like big bold claims without any prominence. It really is a conspiracy theory if you think about it. It's crazy. It's crazy that like a major Fox News network like a major network like Fox would kind of platform those kinds of allegations.
Well, Fox deals in a lot of conspiracy anyway. It's how they get their base riled up. Like, if it's another psychopath that is going to start padding off nonsense like it's fucking 80-year-old boomers to donate more to Fox or like their favorite Republican candidate to make sure that the communists don't take over, they don't give a shit. They'll air it. Like,
yeah. And they won't even they won't eat their own is basically what it is. Because like I for so far I haven't seen a single Republican, like even on Twitter or anywhere else, make a statement against Matt Gaetz.
Yeah, because he's one of them. Like, it's not like like for instance in the left, like you see with Andrew Cuomo, people have just said fuck you. You did this shit, fuck off. Go off. Like, but with Matt Gaetz, they're like, fuck it, we can maybe slide this under the rug in like a year or two and get him up again. Like that's their thought process probably. When they don't really care about the shit he's done, or like the 17-year-old girl that he fucking did that shit with. They don't care.
Yeah. Same with Ted Cruz. Like, people still haven't forgotten about like the whole Texas spectacle.
Yeah, he abandoned his state. Matt Gaetz.
And then the insurrection.
Like, all this shows me is that QAnon shit was bullshit. Like, that they actually cared about the kids. No, they don't. Like, it's actual bullshit. Like, if you did, you'd also be fucking after Matt Gaetz, calling for his resignation. But you're not. You don't care about that. You don't really care about people who've dealt with pedophilia or anything like that. And if they're in the Democratic Party, purge them out of the party. If they're the Republican Party, purge them out. If they have these claims and they look to be true and they are true, get them the fuck out of politics. Throw them into jail. For me personally, like Andrew Cuomo should have resigned a while ago.
Yeah.
I'll put it in perspective in like a football term. There's a football player, Deshaun Watson, right? He has 23 sexual assault allegations right now. The timing of it was so weird. So he requested for a trade from his team. A couple days later, the allegations come out. The lawyer is friends or neighbors with the Texans owner. So a lot of people early on are like, oh, this is very conspiratory and stuff like that, right? But now we're on case number 23. And people are still defending him. Why? Because he can throw a football. He can throw a football really well. He can run pretty fast. And people want to overlook the 23 women that might have been like that might have been traumatized. It's like that with the QAnon people. They're going to overlook all that might have been harmed from Matt Gaetz because he's on their side and they give him a seat.
Didn't he say that like the FBI put tapes on his dad? And then he said that his dad was with the 17-year-old girl, and if they could just release the tapes. That was
so
crazy.
he's willing to throw his own father under the bus for his fuck ups.
Yeah.
Or his father might be a part of it. Like, we don't fucking know. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest.
Why would his dad be with her in the first place?
Exactly. Like, that just makes it look even worse.
No. And honestly, I'm starting to get why he was rushing to make this one size fits all type interview. You guys want to know why? Because there's a new article that came out. Now, this is from the Daily Mail, right? So it's not the most reputable source. However, they do have a few hits among the misses, right? Basically, they said that Matt Gaetz faces imminent arrest as jailed pal Joel Greenberg is singing to the feds amid his sex trafficking probe. Now that basically means that his buddy in jail, his friend,
rat on him.
He just threw him under the bus, dude. Snitched. All right. So basically, this article is claiming that he could be facing arrest within a couple of weeks, or 3 weeks rather. All right. So this is serious shit. So he doesn't have time to get it together and wait for the investigation to pan out and wait for these things to leak, because he's going to be arrested. So that's why he went on that weird ass interview on Fox just to get everything he wanted to say out. He kind of thought that like somehow that would be like the best way.
He was trying to win the court of public opinion.
I got to dip before he dips.
It's kind of counterproductive to his goal, right?
Yeah, it's really counterproductive.
Because like he was a lot of people did not know about, for example, the Tucker Carlson like thing, like allegation from beforehand, and like him like personally knowing a girl that Matt Gaetz introduced him to, right?
Yeah.
So when you do that, you're implicating people that don't want to
be exactly,
and you're kind of like damaging other people's like reputations on their networks.
Like basically another situation that happened. It was remember Katie Hill? Like I think it was like 20 when her shit happened or whatever.
Like 2019, yeah.
2019 or whatever, right? And like she was basically like just crucified for like having an affair or whatever. I think it was with another. I think it was consenting adults for sure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an adult. She had an affair, and her nudes got leaked, right? And she just resigned. She was like, "Sorry, I fucked up," but she resigned and moved on.
Just to clarify, it was with the staffer.
Oh, it's a staffer. All right.
It was with the staffer, yeah.
The staffer, yeah.
So Jay, when you say she was crucified, was it by the conservative side?
Yeah,
or?
just conservative in general.
Because
yeah,
the conservatives
like
were the one that leaked her nudes.
Exactly, they leaked her fucking nudes. Like, what the fuck is this shit?
But I kind of get the vibe that first of all, they think that is worse than being a pedo, and then second of all, if you're against adultery, you're kind like I get the vibe that because obviously I'm religious. Like, there's not really too much honor in like looking at somebody's nudes or spreading someone's nudes around.
Yeah.
So why would you go and do that? You're basically like encouraging it, and then you go and like do a complete 180.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically that dynamic, because like conservatives all day, they like yell about like cancel culture or whatever the fuck, right? But if you guys, there's also another example where James Gunn, director of Guardians of the Galaxy, this guy named Mike Cernovich, he's like an alt-right like conspiracy theorist and like commentator. He basically brought up like James Gunn's old tweets, and they were like pedo jokes, just jokes, right?
Yeah, they're pedo jokes.
He brought them up so he could get canceled, all right?
Yeah.
I just think it's super hypocritical of the right to call out people for like, oh, this is cancel culture, this and that's cancel culture, when there are several examples of you guys politicizing canceling on Twitter for your own agenda. So it just kind of shows like this kind of dynamic that, oh, I'm willing to cancel someone on the other side of the aisle, but not my own.
Yeah.
Both parties. Yeah.
I just want people in power to be held responsible. Like, it doesn't matter if you're on the right or the left. If you're a pedophile, you should go to fucking jail.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, honestly, I think that people should stop looking at it like whether it's the left or the right or wherever you may be on the socio-political spectrum. Like, these are elected officials. They represent the United States of America. Like,
exactly.
if Gaetz would have thought about that for a second before he did what he did, allegedly, because there's no actual evidence yet other if he really offed himself, if he would have thought about that for a second and said, okay, if I do this, then everyone will think that pretty much half of the elected body in the US is a pedo.
Exactly.
The Katie Hill allegations is that she was under an investigation by the Committee of Ethics, right? He had immense public pressure to resign. She resigned. You know what?
Moved on.
You know what she said? I saw an interview. She said that Nancy Pelosi told her to hold it out and to not resign. She resigned anyways. You want to know why? Because she thought it was to the best of everyone, of the public interest, for her to resign. All right.
Yeah.
There was outcry. And to be fair, you know what? Katie Hill was pretty stupid to do that. Like, why would you sleep with a staffer and not think that would be utilized against you somehow?
You know what?
In the future? Because Matt Gaetz, he said he won't resign. He said several times he won't resign. All right. Now you can clearly see the contrast between these two. All right. And it's just crazy.
Yeah, there's one thing that led us to the worst fucking candidate running for office in California, and one of the worst candidates running for Democratic office in California.